Hey, it's Doug Shumway, Suite One Media, and for this screencast, we're going to do a walkthrough of the admin portal for the SuiteAgenda system. And the admin portal is for staff use only. The citizens do not have any access to this. This is where staff members access the system to submit agenda items, to create the packet, and do all the functions as far as preparing for a meeting or creating that packet for them. Now, that being said, how do you access the system? And you access the system through a standard browser. So typically they use Internet Explorer, but they also can use Firefox, Chrome, and even Safari. I'm actually using Chrome on a Mac right now because of the recording software that I'm using to record the screen. And so that still works. They can access the system really from a wide variety of areas in most of the major browsers. And what's important about it is, one, they don't need any type of plug-in. It's just a standard browser, so IT really doesn't have to do anything. When we actually launch a customer, we give them the link to access the admin and their login ID and password. So that's provided to them. Really takes the guesswork out. We recommend they bookmark this page or add it to their desktop as a favorite or a shortcut. So there's a couple of quick ways to have really easy access to access the system. Now, what happens is each user will have their own login ID or username and password. Generally, when we set the system up, their username and password are the same things. We actually like to use the prefix of their email. For example, if your email address is jsmith at bsdigital.com, then we would probably put your username as jsmith, all one word. And when we set the password initially, it'll be the same exact thing. So the username and password are the same. And what happens is with the security of the system, why everybody has their own unique login and password, is we actually have very detailed security and can define what different staff members can see and do within the system. So you're going to have some people that are going to be basic users, power users, and even admins of the system. So we can really customize it on a user by user base, what they can see and what they can access in the system. Now, once I log in here, it takes me to the home page. And we have another screencast about the different areas, but we have the navigation at the top, the main work area in the center, and on the left-hand side, it's really impossible to see in the screen, but if you open and close, you have access to the quick panel. This is a really easy way to find what you're working on previously. Now, typically, I leave it closed, and during the presentation of the demo, I like to talk about the home page first. And when they land here, I want to explain this to them. So the first tab they land on is My Items. These are my items that I have submitted as a staff member. So somebody in planning and zoning might have 2 things, somebody in Parks and Rec might have 3 or 4, and somebody in the clerk's office may have 12. It really depends on how often they submit in the system. Now, I can see my items right here. And right next to that, we have progress bars. This shows how far along it is in the review process or the approval process. For example, you have one at 50%, one at 33%. For example, this could be a 2-step process, so it's halfway done. This may have 3 levels. If I hit info here, it goes, yep, there's 1, 2, 3 levels. That's why it's at 33%, because it's been approved here. And so the system actually will display this information to them. And the thought process is now staff members can actually see their items they submit, see where it stands in the process, when they create it, who's waiting for, who's approved it, or whatever. And they don't have to email anybody, they don't have to call anybody. It's all information right here for them. It's as easily as looking at it and clicking that info button right there. And it pops up and again and shows me where everything stands in the review process. Now I'm going to talk about approvals more details in a few minutes, but I just want to point that out to you. Now at this point I'd like to step back and show them, because during the presentation they're going to have questions on how do they even start a new agenda process, how they even enter an agenda item, and that's where we actually go right over into the agendas tab here. So let's say we want to start a new agenda for a meeting in next month. It's a really easy process. They hit create agenda here, and it's going to pop open with a window and ask me what I want to call it. Now they can call this regular meeting, they can call it special meeting, voting meeting, budget hearing. They can name it whatever they want. They have full flexibility as far as the naming. A couple of things they need to say here. The cutoff date. This is the date and time that, the last date and time, I should say, that a agenda item can be submitted to this particular agenda. All right, we call it the cutoff date or the beg and plead date. So basically, if they try to come in here on 5/9 and submit something at 11:15 a.m., the system will not let them actually enter a new agenda item in here. So this actually helps out the staff members that need to do the reviews, do the packet, do the agenda, so they have time and they don't have people adding something, and 2 days before the meeting happens. All right, agenda type. We have a bunch of different examples in here. But typically, an agenda type is a meeting type. For example, city council regular meeting would be, or city council would be a meeting type. They could have regular meetings, special meetings, whatever. But a different meeting type would be planning or zoning, parks and rec. This thing has all the different meeting boards as a type. For example, everything that's around city council, everything around the planning and zoning board. And what happens is each of those can be customized, so they make it have their own look and feel as far as the templates, their design, their layout, their sections. Each of those boards or agenda types can be customized exactly to what they need. So that's why we actually have them tell the system here what type of agenda are we creating, so the system knows what to create as soon as we hit the save button. And we hit save here, what the system is going to do is actually create the framework of the agenda for me. And what I mean by framework, it's automatically going to drop in the right sections. And again, these are 100% customized to them. So these are their sections, these are their order, and also we can actually number it as well. It could be A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, Roman numeral, no numbering. So we customize the numbering for each agenda type. So now staff members can actually move things onto this agenda from previous meetings, or they can actually add a new agenda item by clicking the new agenda item button right there. So that's how easy it is for them to add a new or start a new agenda process. Now we have some clients that go out there and they'll put next 2 or 3 meetings out there. We have some clients that do them, the next year's worth of meetings. So they determine how far out they want to make these agendas available to staff members. I would say generally they do like a 3-month increment or a 6-month increment. Now, I'm going to go back up here and open up a meeting that actually has some data. And by the way, BIS and JCG both have this exact same demo region that I'm using right here. So it's to follow the same process I'm using right now for a sales presentation. Now, when I go here, this is actually going to look very similar, but now we actually see the agenda items come into view. So under consent, we have 11 different items. Under bids, we have 1. Miscellaneous business, we have 1. And for the clerk or the recorder, this is where we actually put the progress bars for here for them. So they have a quick snapshot of where everything stands in the approval process. So they can actually see everything at one time without having to open up each one of these individually. So the thought process is they can actually see it, they can actually move it to another meeting if they need to, or if they need to send an email saying where does it stand, or call somebody. So it's really just an easy way for them to see all of the approvals in one shot there. Alright, let's say I'm a staff member planning and zoning. I want to add a new agenda item to this particular agenda. There's a button here called New Agenda Item. I click that. It's going to pop open for me. And I'm actually going to pick a section here. Let's go ahead and put this under consent. Now, if a staff member picks the wrong section, it's not a problem. The admin or the clerk or whoever can actually move things up, move things down, and move everything around. So they don't have to worry about it being in the wrong spot. They can switch it up. Now I'm actually going to type in here consideration. So basically, I'm just going to type in some words here. Spell system here. There's a spell checker built in. It's going to pick out the word system and make suggestions to me. Now there's a dictionary if they actually have a project names, keywords, those type of things. That's where they actually do add it to the dictionary. I'm going to pick system here. And it's going to say complete. Now, I just typed in a name here. they may have this content in other areas. They may have it in email, Excel spreadsheet, Word, all types of places they have content. So what happens is they can copy and paste in right here, and what happens is when they paste it, we'll paste it as pure text. So remove all the formatting. As when you paste from Microsoft Word, sometimes you get a lot of junk formatting in the background. So this way, when you paste in here, it actually removes the formatting and pastes as pure text automatically. Because the reason why we did that is we had the templates built. It'll automatically convert it to the right font, the right size, the right layout. The system will actually handle that process. They don't need to go in here and mark this Courier New or anything like that. The system will convert it based on the templates automatically for them. So they just need to put the text in here and let it go from there. And let the system take over. Now they could actually bold it or make italic if they want. But simple enough to go in there and just paste in that information. Now, if they're pasting in from a table or they want a bulleted list, they can also paste from Microsoft Word and keep the formatting and structure, and therefore it actually keeps that consistency in here. So we actually do have a way for them to paste in with the formatting and with the structure using the Word tools here. Alright, item category. This is 100% customized to each customer. Typically we see things like item report, action item, staff report, action item, staff report, ordinance, resolution, presentation, those types of things. So I was going to put action item for this. Department, what department's coming out of, again, obviously these are going to be customized to them. And the ID counter is, what happens is we can actually set up a custom count for each customer or client. What I mean by that is some people will have like the 2013-24. Some people have number 24. Some people have a count, so they want to keep track of each individual agenda item. Sorry, and so therefore they can actually go through there and automatically keeps count of those and organizes it. The count could be reset every year based on their fiscal year, or it could be an ongoing count. We have some clients that have to number 2700 or whatever in the system. Now, what happens, and by the way, that happens automatically. They don't have to do anything. It's just right there for them, show it to them. And I hit save here. What we did is actually enter the bare minimums we need to get a placeholder on the agenda. Okay. Now, there's a lot more other information required. We need to know the fiscal details. We need to know the supporting documents. We need to know the recommended actions. And that's where it takes us to the agenda item details page. And we had the advantage of looking at other systems out there a couple years ago. We said, okay, what do we like about other systems? What don't we like? And we found that a lot of other systems were forcing staff members to go to a lot of different areas. So to actually fulfill an agenda item request. So they go over here for fiscal, they go over here supporting documents. We thought, that's not the best way of doing it. So we actually designed it so everything's on a single page. Okay. So it's a single page and it's a wizard that I'll walk them through step by step to capture the information. Therefore, it's a single page. We train them on this one page because that's really much all the basics users are doing is entering in new agenda items into the system. And so it makes the training much easier, makes it the adoption rate much higher because staff members, they get it, they go here, they follow along the process and enter the information in here. So this structure has really worked out well for us as far as training and overall usability of the system. So walking through that, during the demo, we basically walk through all these tabs and show them how they enter it. So the first thing is the details tab, and we have an item description field. Now some people call this the background or the summary. We can actually relabel this and put, for example, change this item description to item background or item history. Whatever they want to call this field, we can actually change it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put in here paperless agendas, just basically type in some information. Now, this particular field could have a lot of content. So the background information could be like 4 or 5 paragraphs worth of information or even more. And they don't want to have to work with this small little box here. They want to actually be able to see it full screen. So there's a blue icon here, right here. If I hit that, it'll actually make this full screen for me. So now I can actually copy and paste my information. I can see that paragraphs layout. I can move things up, move things down, and I actually have a word size environment to work within. To go back down normal size, I just deselect that blue icon and it goes back down normal size for me. The official body, this shows who it's rolling up to. Really handy if they use it for the different boards or committees. The department, it's the current department. Presenter is the speaker. For example, if speakers come in to present to the board, it could be a outside speaker, such as a vendor. They can put the vendor's name in right here. The sponsor is the internal sponsor. If I select here, it'll pop open and actually present me, and I can say, okay, these are the two department heads are actually sponsoring this particular agenda item. So they can actually see who sponsored it if there's more than one person. And also it comes in handy if an admin enters it on behalf of his or her department head, they will put the department head as a sponsor. Right below that, we have recommended actions. This is where, again, these are customized 100% to the customer. So if I want to say, we want to approve this, we can mark it approve. And again, we have some clients that have 2 things, some clients have 6 things here, so it really depends. And right below that, we allow them to provide their justification statement or provide some details on why they recommend approve. For example, we did a vendor review or RFP. Those are kind of typical things there. Or, recommend going number 3 but not number 4. All right from there. Another thing I want to point out, remember our item ID up here? That was number 18. You see how it appends it? It's 2014-18. Let's say our fiscal year is 2014 right now. So that's how the item ID works. All right, the next tab, I'm going to start working down these tabs one by one. Next tabs are custom fields tab, meaning these are different fields we customize for each client, but also we customize for each agenda type. For example, planning and zoning might capture different fields than city council captures. And we can actually have text boxes, check boxes, date fields, all types of different information we can capture. Now what happens is, just because we capture information doesn't mean it's required by a staff member. For example, they can put none here or skip over if it doesn't apply. And the customer determines which fields are required and which fields are optional. Again, we've seen things like legal impact, operational analysis, is a projector required for the meeting, all different kinds of fields. Alright, next one. By the way, we can actually relabel this tab to call it whatever we want to. So we can relabel, not showing up other fields, relabel it. Alright, the fiscal. This is the fiscal impact summary. This is where they can actually put in, this is a budget item, put the details in there, right? But if we take it a step further, we want to provide them a way to actually enter the line items. And these are called fiscal custom fields. So let's say we have an agreement here. That's typically the example I use. A lot of times their finance department wants to know when they plan on buying it, so they know when it's going to hit, especially for large dollar items. And also what account it's coming out of. Now, some people put the actual account number, and some people actually put general funds, operating budget, whatever they have. So you have a couple different options there. Amount budgeted, so you put the information there, and then the actual amount. Again, this is actually fiscal custom fields, so it means it can be customized for each client. So if they don't want to have amount budgeted, they want to have project name or something else, that's fine, not an issue at all. So I said update right here, and actually update this field for me, and line item for me, and totals it at the bottom. So this is where I can actually see 3 or 4 different things if I enter all 3 or 4 and see the total at the bottom. So it's a great thing for if you have an agreement that has 5 different line items, you can actually put all 5 in there for that and actually see a total. Alright, attachments. This is typically the most painful part for them. Right now with attachments, they're doing a lot of scanning, a lot of converting to PDF, a lot of copy machines, Xeroxing, that whole process. And so this actually removes that for them. This is where they can actually upload attachments. For example, if I hit new attachment here, and I'm going to go ahead and put in agreement. Let's keep on following that. And this is where they mark whether it's published or not. Again, they want to publish it, that means when this meeting gets published with the supporting documents, this actual attachment will be available too. So if it's public information, they put yes. If it's anything confidential, they may leave it no. Now, if they pick the wrong one, the admin system can go back and change this too. Alright, confidential. Not every document is for everybody's eyes, even internally. For example, if it contains HR information or contains legal information, they may say, you know what, only city council or executive staff can see it. Or, okay, only department heads hired can see this particular document. And what happens is, if you're not a department head or higher, then you wouldn't even know that that actually exists in the system. So it's a quick way of really thinking about it as security at the document level. It really comes in handy when they actually create the packet. What I mean by that is they can actually create a full packet which has all those confidential documents for the board, but also create a public packet that just includes the non-confidential documents right there. So they can actually have two different versions of the packet. Now, it doesn't happen every single meeting, but it is nice when it does happen to be able to do that instantly. What happens, I'm just going to choose file here, and it's going to pop open. You might not even see this way it works, but I'm going to go in and grab one of our standard agreements. And it's going to upload into the system. I hit save there, and it adds it right there for me. Now, what happens is when a file is added into the system, it keeps it in its native format. So I uploaded a Word document, so if I hit view here, it'll open up as a Word document. So with Excel, open up as Excel. And what happens is we actually allow them to upload all different types of files. Planning and zoning may upload a lot of different pictures. So I'm actually going to upload a picture here. Let me grab one. I'm just going to grab a whatever. Image. So they upload images of properties and all that and other information. And some of the file types we support is Excel spreadsheets, PDFs, Word documents, PowerPoints, PowerPoint shows, and the image files, which include bitmaps, PNGs, TIFFs, JPEGs, and all those. So therefore, they can actually upload a wide variety of different files. And what happens is when they create the packet, the system, this is an important part, the system will automatically convert all those to PDF for them. And that's really a time saver, and that's really a huge selling point and very important part of the process. So it automatically converts the files from this native format, Word, PDF, or whatever, to a PDF file automatically when it creates the packet. Now, let's say I have 5 different files here. I may want them to appear in a certain order within the packet. I get edit order here, and it's all through dragging and dropping. Drag whatever order I want in, I just drag and drop. So I have 5 different files. I'll be able to see all 5 right here. Alright, comments. This is really for the reviewers. Basically, for example, this comes to a department head for review. They can actually add a new comment here, say, hey, I need more information. More info. And I hit update. And it'll actually add my comment here, so it's permanently associated with this agenda item. But also, it'll send an email to the originator automatically and notify them they had a new comment added to their agenda item, and they can actually see the information right from that email. So I don't have to call them, I don't have to email them. The system will automatically update and notify the originator. All right, approvals. Approvals can be very standard. They can be very varied from each customer to customer, right? And so we actually have approvals engine built into the system, and we can actually have it automatically preset so it automatically populates the right approval right here. What I mean by that, for example, if they pick the category being finance purchase, we could actually have the approval process for the finance purchase automatically displayed here. But during the demo, I want to show them some of the flexibility of the approvals. And so I want to go in here and hit add approvals. And this is where I can actually go here and say, I know I want to add a finance over $25,000. Okay, approval. And then what happens is it automatically drops in the right people. So they can actually have your standard approval, which may go from staff to department head to clerk to manager's office or something like that. They can have approval with legal review, approval for a purchase over $25,000, approval for IT, software related. So again, these are all the different types of different approval templates in the system, and we can actually have it set up so when a staff member creates this agenda item, it'll say based on the category, oh, I need to display this approval process. So they basically, it automates it for them. Now, there's going to be certain times where they may say, you know what, I need to override this. And not every staff member has the ability to override. This is a secure function, so they determine who has the ability to override it anytime. For example, let's say Amy Fuller is on vacation this week. Well, I can delete her. I want to remove her from the process, and I want to add somebody in here. Besides adding an approval template, they can also add a board or committee as a level of approval, but typically they'll do the individual. So if I want to add somebody, you can actually see all the different people I have in here. I'm going to add myself as system admin because I'm logged in as right now, and I hit save here. You see it, system admin added right there. Now, I want to go to this person first. That's where we have the edit order right here. So I can drag it up, put that person first, right there. There it is. Now, what happens is we have the ability to, again, customize this, have the templates in the system. If they basically need to change them on the fly, we change them on the fly. So my kind of rule of thumb is, 95% of the time our standard templates will be fine. It will be automatic for them. They don't do any changes to it. That 5% of the time, they can go in here, they can override, they can change, make edits, all that. Okay, so if they're having to do something over and over again with the approval templates, we probably need to look at that process and template it for them rather than having to do it before every meeting. The item layout, this is basically just gives them a preview of what's going to show on the agenda. So it's a quick preview of it. If I hit preview agenda item, I can see what's going to be. Consideration of agenda management system right there. Generally, staff members just skip over this page and everything go here. Because again, we have everything templated for them, how it appears in the agenda. Item reports, we can actually have all this automatically set up. What an item report is, a lot of times today, before they go live with the system, they actually are submitting by Word documents, item reports, cover sheets, memo reports, or basically their request for an agenda item is being turned in by using Microsoft Word and turn that in. And what happens is we want to be able to create that for them. So if I hit generate right here, it'll actually generate the PDF and report, item report for them automatically. So I want to show you the PDF one. It actually brings up the item report, and again, we customize this for them. So we have whatever look and feel they want, and you see how it drops in my information right here. So what happens is that the system actually takes what's input into the system, automatically creates the item report for them, so they don't have to do it. And that, if you really think about it, and really a point really nail home with them, as far as the process change, it's not really changing a lot for them. They're basically just, instead of typing all the information in Microsoft Word, they're actually just typing in the system, and the system's creating those files for them automatically. And that's why we actually create a PDF and Word version for them automatically, and they have a preview function too if they want to get a quick preview of what it's going to look like at any time. Now, as a staff member, I can hit save, come back to it later. Maybe next day, maybe next hour, whatever it might be. So I have a quick access to it. And when I'm ready to kick off that approval process, I just hit the initiate button here. That will kick off that approval process, and it really will become now time for the reviewers to take action on this particular item. Now, how the reviewers get notified. So basically what happens now, the system will send out an email to the approvers next one in line basically, and say, hey, this agenda item has been created, it's been assigned to you. Provide all the details in there about the agenda item itself, what meeting, who created, all that. And also in that email will be a link that will take them to the home page, but not under my items, it's actually under my approvals. And you notice down here at the bottom, here's the one that we just created for the 5-9 meeting. And so remember the 2014-18? That's it right there. So this is where I can actually see all the approvals waiting for me. So this is all the approvals waiting for me in the system. Now, as an approver or reviewer, I have a couple options. One, if I know what it is, I know it's simple, I know it's easy, I'm not too worried about it, I can actually click on Actions here. And what I can do for this is I can actually approve it, deny it, return to the creator, all right from here. So if I want to approve, it will actually go on to the next person. Or if I'm in the last person, it'll be a mark for final approval, yes. Okay. Or I can return it to the originator, if you know, or creator if I want to actually have them put in for more information or whatever. And right below that, you can actually send an email out as well. So this is where you actually send an email notification. So you actually email anybody in the organization and also CC anybody in the organization as well. But typically, before I come here to approval, I want to review it. And so instead of hitting the Actions button right there, I hit the actual name, and that takes me back to that single page where the staff member input all information, and now I can actually see all the details for me to review it. And again, now notice these tabs actually have numbers behind it, so I know there's 2 attachments, there's 1 comment, 1 item report, so I know which ones of these actually contain information. Alright? Now, as a department head, I may look at this and say, you know what, this is a terrible name, there's no way I'm going to put this on the agenda. I'm going to go ahead and put in there solution for board meetings. Whatever, I can take editorial control and hit save here. What happens is, behind the scenes, there's a little button here called edit versions. Behind the scenes, we're actually tracking changes. Very similar to Microsoft Office track changes. So we can actually see the original and then actually see version 2 right here. So we can see what was struck and what was added. So basically the red was struck and the green was added by this particular person. And it is actually time and date stamped and also who made that change. Very important if you have a process that goes to like 4 or 5 different people, because it may go to department head, to the attorney, finance director, manager's office, clerk's office. Could be a viable process for some of our clients. So they don't want to have people making changes on top of changes. So this way they can actually see as it progresses through the process of changes that happen. And also if a change does happen on this, the system will automatically notify the originator that their agenda item has been updated or changed. So they don't have to email them or call them or not tell them. The system automatically will notify them automatically. And what's nice about the edit versioning, it's automatically there. They don't have to open up to look at it if they don't want to. You know, the next version will be edit version 3. And all of our major fields actually have the versioning built in. So you see item description, even the custom fields has the versioning as well. Now, stepping back, we actually create a new agenda. We actually add a new agenda item. We looked at it from a reviewer. We took editorial control. We approved it or whatever. Now it's time to really come over to the clerk's office or the manager's office, whoever, to actually create the agenda, create the packet. So I'm going to leave the agenda level, the agenda item level, and go up to the agenda. And typically what happens is, first thing they'll do is actually give it the eyeball test, meaning they'll look at where everything stands. For example, here's our spot number 12, the one we just created. They may say, you know what, we're going to talk about this first under consent. So we allow them to edit the layout and the ordering. So typically order here. I'm going to drag this and put that in the number 1 spot. You see how everything automatically slides down, everything automatically gets renumbered. So if you do get that last minute item, which happens a lot for them, they can actually type in the name real fast, enter the basic information, slide at the right spot, and then everything else will get renumbered reordered automatically for them. The numbering is right here. For example, if they are Roman numeral, they actually change it right there and close. Now we automatically template that, so they never have to make those changes. So we automatically have a set to their correct template. Some other things they can do over here are sections. This is where they can, for example, here's approval minutes for the 10-12 meeting. If I want to change this, say, oh, it's approval minutes for the, actually, I entered the wrong one. Approval minutes for the 5-12 or 4-12 meeting. 4-12-13 meeting, I should say. They update here. That's where they can actually update the name of the section. It doesn't change the templates, it doesn't change any of the other agendas in the system. It only actually updates the name for this one particular section on this one particular agenda. Likewise, they may want to add new sections on the fly or delete sections. Not a problem. It's an easy process here. If I delete, I can actually pick which ones I want to delete. Okay. Or if I want to add a new one, I say add new one and slide it to the right spot automatically. Really is pretty easy. Now, to create the actual files, I'm going to hit the Agenda Files tab here. First thing we need to do is create the agenda. And I'm going to call this the agenda. Hit create here. It's going to go through there and create that agenda for me in a PDF and Word format. There it is. If I hit the PDF, it'll pop up and show me right here. Here's our agenda. Here's our agenda item right in the middle. Okay. Now again, we'll customize it to their look and feel. So they can have a logo top, logo left, the board members' names, whatever font. This is like a Verdana font here. It could be Times New Roman or whatever type of font they want, Arial. And also their layout and their spacing. So it is 100% customized to them, to what they want or what they have. Alright. To create the packet, same process. You hit create here. This time I'm going to choose agenda packet. And I'm going to call this the full packet. Alright. And the reason I call it the full packet, I'm going to include those confidential documents. Alright. If I was creating the public packet, I would not include confidential documents. So that's where they actually create the different versions if they need to. Now I'm going to go through here and hit create here. And what happens is the system's going through all those different agenda items. It actually pulls out all the attachments, converts them all to PDF, and then it builds the master file, and also bookmarks everything for them so they can actually use bookmarks. Now, to see the packet, it's going to look very similar, and it's going to be a little bit different than what you're used to seeing on my normal demo because it's on a Mac with based on the recording software I use. But what happens is I open up a packet, it'll actually have the bookmarks on the left-hand side. So you open up an IE, when you create an IE, it'll actually have the bookmarks on the left-hand side. Now, there's bookmarks still built in here. It's just the different way that Chrome displays the file right here. So if I open up as a PDF file, I can actually still see the bookmarks. But anyway, here's our file. Here's everything we have in here. Here's our services agreements that we added in here. And then remember we added the image. Below that is the image file we added in here as well. There's our little image. Now, when we create a standard packet could be, 200, 250 pages standard. That's not a problem. The system is designed to create very large packets. We had one client create a 3,000 page packet at one time. It took about 40 seconds to create. The one we just created here is about 5 seconds. And also, when we create the packet, it's a standard PDF file. Okay, so there's nothing proprietary about it. They can save it out locally. If they want to have a copy, locally. They can print out a copy as well. A lot of times, I'll have a council member that wants to have their paper copy no matter what because they've been there since 1948. So they can still print out a copy to provide him or her a paper version. Likewise, you have some people that actually have iPads or Android tablets. The packet that's created in the system is iPad and tablet compatible. They can actually open up the iPad. They can add it, notes, comments, annotate, all that stuff in there. And so again, it's really a standard PDF file, and it could be an average of 150, 250 pages, not a problem. Now, when they go to paperless agendas, the hardest thing is how do they deliver it, or how they get the actual file to the board members, right? What I mean by that is, if it's a 300-page document, you can't email it very easily because it'll bounce back a lot of times. They don't want to print out copies because that defeats the whole purpose of going paperless. So we have a couple other options for them. One, they can actually give a limited login to their accounts member board members, so they can log in to the admin portal and only see the finalized packets in the system. All right. Now, typically our clients don't do that because A, they don't want the board members logging in the system, and B, the board members don't want to have to log in anywhere. They just want to get the packet. Okay, but you could do that. The other option is you see the button here, Deliver. We actually integrated with a service called Dropbox, and that's where you can actually deliver that file right here. And Dropbox, I'd like to explain this. Dropbox is a service that allows you to share files and folders with a select few people. For example, they would set it up so they would share a folder with the board members, okay, council members. And what happens is they set that up. They hit, I want to deliver the agenda here, hit deliver, and what happens is, because we're integrated with Dropbox, it'll actually send that file directly from here over to that shared folder, and then that file automatically propagates down to the board members' machines. So they automatically get it on their whatever machine they're using. And that's the important part of this. They could be using a laptop, a desktop, an iPad, Android, even their iOS phone or Android phone that actually automatically syncs down to their machine. So they have instant access to the file once it's delivered. So it's an easy way to send that file to automatically, and they have full access to it, and they can actually open it up and review it however they want to. So that's integration with the Dropbox. Now the publish, this is where they actually publish the agenda and the packet to the online portal. They can say publish immediately, or they can do it at a future date if they want to. And I'm going to pick a full pack here. I said save here, and I'll actually mark these checked now. So now these have been published online to the system portal. Alright, upload agenda. What that is, for example, they may not like, on the agenda, they may not like where the system breaks the page, or they may want to have extra space in for some reason, or they want to type in draft in the header because of some unique circumstance. What that is, the upload agenda function is a really handy tool. What they can do is open up the Word version of the agenda. Okay, they open up the Word version of the agenda, they make their basic change, and then they upload it right here using the upload agenda, and the system will upload it and actually convert it to PDF automatically, and then they can actually use that agenda as their basis for their packet. Okay, so basically we're allowing them to tweak the layout formatting in Microsoft Word to really fine-tune it if they want to make any changes. Hopefully they don't do that very often, because the way we have the system designed to break and page and all that properly. Now, they cannot change any content, because if they change content, it's going to get out of sync with what's in the system. So it's only used for like formatting, spacing, page breaks, those type of things. Simple look and feel issues. So that's the upload agenda function. Now, from here, I'm pretty much, done with the agenda process. We've actually published it online. And that's a different screencast. We talked about the system portal. Some other functions we have built in the system. If I go over here to the home page and select agenda map here, what that is, agenda map actually shows me what's coming up on future meetings, but also there's a tabled area. For example, I may want to, as a staff member, I may start an agenda item, but I don't know which agenda I want to put it on, so I might keep it in the tabled area. Or if I'm needing to move something, or they tell me, hey, get this off this meeting, we'll put it on a future meeting, then I may move it from up here to down here. And for example, it's easy of here's our consideration agenda management solution. I can hit move here, and I'm going to move it to no agenda assigned right there. Now, I could also move it to another meeting. So if I had more meetings in this demo region, I could actually pick a different meeting and just pick the section and actually moves it from one meeting to the next. So as easy as that. I'll pick no agenda assigned, hit saved. You're going to notice it updates. It's gone now, and now it's actually down here under the no agenda assigned area. There it is at the bottom here. Now, so that's how they can move things on meetings and move things off meetings. So that's actually physically moving it. Another function we have that people use a lot is a little bit different is the copy function. And you see if I open up an agenda item here, I can actually see the one we just typed in. I may want to copy this from one meeting to the next. So I can actually hit the copy function. And what happens is it leaves it on the original meeting, but also allows you to make an exact copy of it on a future meeting. So basically what happens is, if planning and zoning, they have a lot of very similar types of requests, maybe based on a property address, really the only thing that changes. So they may want to have one in the system, and they just copy it, and then tweak the address, tweak the name, whatever. They can actually take editorial control here. And then also be able to copy the tabs. So they can actually hit the copy, which tabs they want to copy over as well. So you can copy everything or just a few of the tabs available. So again, the copy function keeps it on one meeting, makes a complete copy of it to wherever in the next meeting or the agenda assigned area. Where move actually is moving it from one meeting to the next. It leaves the meeting and goes over to another one. Document search. This is basically they can actually go in here and do keyword searches for their documents. We index everything. So this is where you see I've used this attachment before. And again, these are only attachments that have been uploaded into the system. Again, we're not a document management system. These are just the supporting documents been up here. They can actually filter these if they want to. There's actually filters. They can actually, so they can really find what they're looking for. The events, this is their event library or meeting library, or event library here. They actually see the coming events, the most recent ones. Analytics, this is our reporting. Most of it is tied around the SuiteView system reporting. But there are some useful things for SuiteAgenda too. You can see how many people are accessing the portal area, and you see it's an interactive reporting. You actually roll over and see the different details. And there's different date ranges. Now I usually don't go over this during the presentation, but I just want to point this out to you as you're learning the system. And some other examples of reports. Tools in here. This is all the admin area with all the setup. A lot of these are screencasts. If you're interested in learning about security profiles or security groups or how to set them up, all that, then there's actually a separate screencast in the system. So general staff members don't have access to this. This is more the admin function of the system. And then we have preferences here where they can actually change the name, password, and basic information. So that's really the agenda management system overall. The entire process of going through there, and I'll kind of talk through it a little bit. During presentations, obviously, it's much tighter and a little more feature benefit type of discussion rather than pointing everything out to you. But that is really the process of the agenda management. If you can learn basically what we went through today or talk to what we went through today, you'll be fine for presentations. All right, thanks.